Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Bahuguna. Truly a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's nice meeting you.
I understand that these are interesting times for you. A lot has happened. A lot has been spoken of. A lot of accusations have been made. And I think you said what you have to say. My question stems from the fact that you cannot deny that with a natural calamity of this size and this magnitude, however one looks at it, at some level, the seeds of fear have been sown amongst pilgrims who visit, in one of India's most finest, largest religious shrines. In your capacity as Chief Minister, how do you think you are looking to, at some level, remove this fear in the long term?
See, the calamity of this magnitude has certainly pushed the state back. And over a lakh people are stranded in my state. And I think the government and the armed forces have done a commendable work by safely evacuating more than a lakh people in 10 days' time. The Uttarakhand identity is the Char Dham. We had a review meeting with the administration. By the 30th of September, we have been assured, and I said ensure it, that the pilgrims can go to Badrinath, Gangotri and Yamunotri.
Okay.
With regard to Kedarnath, the difficulty is that the entire road from Gaurikund to Kedarnath has been totally washed away. In fact, it looks that the mountains have tumbled.
Wow.
Kedarnath shrine, there has been casualties, and it is now under at least 7 or 8 feet of debris. It will take time for us to clear the debris. But one thing I can assure the people and everybody who has got faith in Kedarnath, it's our pride and identity also, that now whatever I'll build and I'll ensure first that it meets the requirement of the environmentalists, the geologists. It's done in a very scientific way. The GSI is on the job. And also regulate. I will see how much the load the infrastructure can take. It's time we have to do that.
Sure.
That will also ensure that, first of all, we'll have a complete record of the movements of the pilgrims. But then also, they will be comfortable. Now, in my state, you will be surprised to know that there is no regular police in the hills. 61% of my population is covered by revenue police. Revenue police means the Lekpal, the Patwari.
Okay.
They look after the law and order and the crime. Our crime rate is very low, so I feel proud of it. But now with this state being a calamity-prone state, and we are also in the seismic zone for earthquakes, so I have to have now a regular police force, posted at least at the strategic places where we are having often landslides and calamities. If there would have been a regular force, the response would have been absolutely faster. But there was no regular force.
Sure.
So I think it's only by rebuilding it in a manner which ensures safety, which ensures comfort, that I'll be able to restore the confidence of the tourists visiting the state, because my entire state economy rests on tourism.
So, if you can take me through some of your, the rough draft you have, the sketch that you have in your mind to restore the original glory of Kedarnath, step by step.
Now, the entire buildings which came up in Kedarnath were not in a planned manner. I don't accuse anybody because it has been there since a long, long time ago. Now, what we have to put up a very scientific planning, no building near the temple. First of all. Second, how many people we are going to allow to stay in Kedarnath in the night. It's a high altitude. It's about 11,000 feet.
Yeah.
Then the connectivity. Now we have to have an action plan that in the event of any eventuality, there have to be two routes. You don't have just one access to Kedarnath.
Okay.
I'll try to have two accesses.
Okay.
An entry, one way is the entry, the other way is the exit.
Okay.
Now the GSI will have to give us a safe route. Secondly, how do we make the accessibility to Kedarnath? we'll have to ensure that even the entire approach to Kedarnath is safe. The difficulty is it's all mountain area and it's forest area. We can't construct roads. Now we'll have to approach the Ministry of Environment and Forest to at least allow us a motorable road as far as it can go to Kedarnath. In that, even the evacuation is faster. Then a ropeway.
Okay.
A cable car.
Wow.
If we can have a system of cable cars, that will also be easy and convenient and safe. So I think we'll have a many-pronged approach. I think we have to go more by the advice of the people who are experts in the field of environment and the study of the entire topography of that area.
You know, when you took over as Chief Minister, did you ever think that this property, this religious shrine that sits in your state, was something that required protection, that required nurturing, or has it only come to the fore after the disaster?
No, you see, there were issues were being raised with regard to the Char Dhams, all the temples.
Right.
Because we were having landslides. And because of landslides, the people used to get stuck. So one of the issues which was coming about was whether how to ensure that the connectivity is not snapped.
Yeah.
That was an issue that was coming. But the Kedarnath, you see, was one of the safest places. In the last 100 years or 200 years, there has never been an incident where Kedarnath was subject to the fury of nature. There is heavy snowfall, and the temple gets closed. And it opens only for 6 months. This nature was never expected. In fact, no one ever predicted any catastrophe yet in the Kedarnath Valley. But now, we have learned a lesson, and I think not only here, I think every place now in Uttarakhand has to be ensured of safety. Sure. One doesn't know where calamity may strike again.
Absolutely.
So we have to have very scientific study of all the lakes which are on the high altitudes, of the road connectivities, of the rivers. And for that reason, I have set up a gross environment product, GEP, a new concept as to how to measure the resources which we have, the natural resources. And as just put up a committee, we will have our own data to assess how much we are doing, whatever we are doing, what we have achieved to ensure the safety of our environment. Now, my entire economy rests on tourism. One has to always understand that.
37%.
And it's on tourism, and the local people, their migration or economic backwardness would not be in national interest because I'm a border state with China and Nepal.
Yeah.
So, all these are aspects. That's why I've been seriously advocating now, and I shall pursue it with the Prime Minister, that we have a Himalayan Development Authority.
Yeah.
In which all the chief ministers are taken on board, the Prime Minister heads it.
Absolutely.
And then we have a very comprehensive policy for the entire Himalayan belt, all the Himalayan states, with regard to irrigation, generation of power, construction of roads, tourism, connectivity.
Right.
So we have to see that there is economic growth, and there is also, we don't fiddle too much with nature.
Absolutely. If you had to harness, what you already have, in terms of tourism and the religious shrines that lay in your state, do you have a plan to, in terms of stratified layers, to actually, commercialize would be the wrong word, to get optimum revenues out of this entire, asset that lay in your state?
See, our aim so far, our policy so far has not been of trying to generate revenue. We are trying to provide facilities and easy access. We are not taxing people, we are not putting any taxes, but now I think we'll have to tax a class which can afford.
Okay. That's going to be received very positively.
We'll have to tax a class which can afford, because you see, the investment is going to be huge.
Yeah.
And it is going to come through the state exchequer.
Exactly.
Though a number of state governments and organizations are willing and coming forward to help the restoration of the entire temple and the valley. But then we will appreciate, I do appreciate the sentiment. But the temple will be constructed, or not constructed, reinforced, or whatever you have to do by the state government. But the expenses which we incur now, I think some liability will be passed on to the tourists, to a class which can afford, and they'll be happy to do it.